Hello. This video is about the AI integration into the Newspeak Web IDE. And so I'm going to spend a few minutes showing you the features that I've developed in the past couple of weeks with Claude's help. You can see there are a couple of classes here, AI Access, AI ID support, and there's a bit more code scattered in other places, mainly in the UI framework, just a bit. Altogether, maybe 5,000 lines of code, all written by Claude, slightly supervised by me, but apart from sort of, architectural supervision and the occasional instruction to avoid an anti-pattern looking at things and so forth, it's entirely coded by Claude. I never actually wrote a line of code in this project. The design is sort of a collaboration between me and Claude. It really provides good advice on how to do this kind of integration if you give it the vision. So let's kind of see how this works. You have these brain icons everywhere, as you can see. When you click on one, the background goes yellow. This tells you that this is the active brain, as it were. What it really means is that the AI is focused on the presenter that has this brain. In this case, the class presenter uh, for uh, for class AI access. So let's try and do something fun, like uh, I want to change the color of classes. Let's say background color to be clear. And I'll also tell it I do not want to touch CSS or HTML because otherwise I found that it tends to think that's the standard way of doing things. We want to just use Newspeak. And let's see what it will make of that. That might take it a while. As you see, once you typed in the query, it goes up into the chat record here, and the answer will show up once it's ready. In the meantime, it says thinking, and this will take a little while, hopefully not too long. Uh, In the meantime, I'll point out that the model is Sonnet 4.6. That's the default we're using right now. Here, the answer has come back. Before we look at the answer, notice that now the model isn't grayed out again. You can change models on the fly, but not while it's thinking, because that would confuse the hell out of things. But you have a choice of models here, so I wanted to note that. So here, what does it have to say? Let me explore the ID, right? It's going to try and figure this out. It doesn't know the API. It has access to all the code in the live system. It hasn't gotten all of that loaded into its context necessarily. It has a protocol where it can go and ask for code that it feels is relevant. So here, it seems to have found where to do this. And it has a suggestion of changing it. So it'll get a green color right here. So it realizes that the heading definition and minor class headings are places which control the colors, and it has an idea of what to change it to. So it always asks before it changes code. And this is one of the key things about having a Newspeak integration, unlike an integration into, IDs for dead languages. You in a live system, you can change the code on the fly, and this is one of the things that we can do here. So it asks, and we'll say yes. It says, "Shall I apply this here?" And we'll say, "Go ahead." And you notice that changed. Right? So that's the color, and it has changed it. And of course, it's changed everywhere. If we go and look at the course class for, a random other class, yeah, everywhere in the system, this has changed. And this is where our chat was. Uh, and we can tell it, I don't like it. try a lighter, less saturated. And we'll see what, and yes, it never does anything without permission. At some point I'll change that when things are a bit more mature. But for now, I'm gonna do that. And yes, let's see if we see a result here. Yeah. So there. Yeah, that's not as offensive. This is kind of a more less saturated, more in your face, less in your face, I should say, green, just as we asked for. So the ability to change code on the fly is one of the unusual aspects. Obviously, it was able to read code on the fly. It can access everything in the system, and as I said, none of this was essentially preloaded into the context. It goes and figures out what it should look at. It can list what's in the IDE, what's in the namespaces. Then it can look by names of classes and figure out what seems relevant, go look at them, just as sort of a human poking around would, really. The other thing that's very unusual, let's go and look at a workspace. And we're going to click here. So again, now our focus is on the workspace. Not that that's essential, but we want to see results here. So in fact, we're not going to do it in this workspace for now. We're going to, well, we don't have it yet. It will open on an AI workspace, which is kind of nice. But for now, we're going to say something like, uh, tell me what platform mirrors returns. And we'll do, or evaluates too. I don't know. Otherwise, it might go for a return type or something. Let's see. And once we get that running, it's thinking again. And it tells me platform mirrors values to an instance of mirrors for primordial soup. That's the mirrors library for this Newspeak platform. It's an entry point for reflective operations, giving you access to a class mirror, object mirror, etc. So you can have it explain the code, etc. And yeah, you can see here that there's an instance of mirrors for primordial soup. So it actually evaluated. Otherwise, it wouldn't know this. It actually did do the evaluation. So you can do evaluation live in the IDE, or rather the AI can do it. You, of course, can do it. That's a bit different. Some of the other Smalltalk sort of AI integrations I've seen, though they may have changed that. It's a constantly moving thing. But the advantage of working in the web browser is that we're in a sandbox and we don't have to worry so much about security. It's sort of, for better or worse, taken a lot of it is taken care of for us. That also restricts sometimes what we can do, but it means that we're not too worried about evaluating. We're already in a code evaluation sandbox, and so we can run things and evaluate them, and they work. And so that's pretty much unique to small talky environments, right? You can't do this in your regular AI integrated into a vanilla dead code kind of environment. So another thing you can do, which is interesting, is let's try and evaluate foo. So there is no foo in the workspace, so that's an error, and we got a link to a debugger. And if we click here, we can just ask it in the tell me what went wrong and how to fix it. This is really the DWIM button, the do what I mean button. How do you've got a bug, tell me what it is and how I'm gonna fix it. And so let's see. It will come back to us in not too long, I hope. Yeah, here's what went wrong. A message foo was sent to the workspace one instance, but it doesn't understand it. And here's what the call chain shows, right? So it actually knows that, it can look at all the calls here in the stack, can traverse the stack and understand what actually went wrong with this particular bug. It can also inspect those stack frames, what their state is like. It can even actually step through the debugger and run commands. This case is a very simple situation, but it's telling you, yeah, it tried to call this, does not understand in workspace. In fact, since it doesn't understand it itself, it tries to look it up in the root namespace. That's how we get access in the workspace conveniently to what's in the system. It didn't find that and eventually went to objects dot not understand. And now the fix. Well, it's not defined, and you can either define it, or if it was a typo and you meant something else, then do that, and that's correct. So assume foo should return 42. Fix it, fix the problem, and continue executing. Right, okay, since it's not allowed to change code without asking, it's asking add fooey returns 42 to workspace 1. Shall I apply it? Yes. Okay, and now it's resumed execution. And we're back here. Uh, so we can continue. And here's the result, 42. And if we go back to our workspace, just to be sure, and reevaluate this, and we get 42 right here. So yeah, we can do fix and continue debugging, or rather the AI can do fix and continue debugging. It can control the debugger. It can change the code. It can look at the state of the system. And so that's all kind of cool. What else can I show you? Obviously, the idea here is the selecting these brain thingies, right? I should say a few more words about that. So let's look at a class like ducts. And okay, well, let's look at a nested class. And let's say we're in this method. So we'll ask it what the method does. And it's going to have to read up about ducts and figure out what they're all about and then understand. And so send packet delivers a packet to all outlets connected to this duct. Here's how it works. There's an explanation, etc. So as you'd expect, it can explain the code to you. It understands Newspeak pretty well. And the nice thing about this mechanism with every presenter, like method presenters, class header presenters, class presenters, debuggers, all these things, workspaces, they all have their brain icon. And when you click on it, it gets a yellow background, which means that's the current focus. And that means that it now has some context to know what you're looking at. So I didn't have to tell it, look at the method send in class duct inside the ducts module and tell me what it does. I just told it, what does this method do? Same thing when I looked in the debugger and says, what's the problem? It can look and say, oh, I'm in a debugger. That's what the user means by a problem and so forth. So providing that context is another kind of neat, nice feature, which plays well with a structured nature of Newspeak and Smalltalk environments where you're not just browsing a file, but you're actually looking in a structured way at a particular construct. Uh, Other things, yeah, if you go to the top brain, it'll take you to a document here, which is includes the chat, and that has a few other features. You can, of course, change the model as we saw before, but it also lets you add chat. So let's add a chat. Uh, we'll call it chat 2. And this tells you, yeah, this is Anthropic. And if you don't have an API key, it'll ask you to fill in a key, but we do have it and it hides it. And so we'll just tell it to start chat. And we have chat two. And now when we look at chats, we have both chat and chat two, and we can alternate among them. We can also create chats with Google, so Gemini. And so we'll call that GChat and start that one. And that's a distinct one. Um, what AI providers can I use in this environment? So let's see what Gemini can tell us about my choice of AI providers. You can use Anthropic and Gemini. That's true. Uh, so you can ask it to explain the AI architecture and so forth. The point being, yeah, well, currently we support Google and Anthropic. And the next phase is probably to experiment with local providers, which is good because unfortunately, the one big downside of this whole thing is it costs real money. All right, you're paying for this. That's why you have to fill in your API key. I have API keys in the browser here. If you access the system, say from the web, when you try to click on the brain, it will take you to this setup dialog that we had before. Let's see. I think we should have AI chat. It'll take you to an AI chat setup. And the thing is, this will be open and you'll have to fill in your API key. It's stored locally in local storage in the browser, doesn't go anywhere. If you don't believe me, you don't believe me, but you can actually check all the code in the Newspeak system and see that that's the case. If you're basically the bottom line is you have to pay for it. And these costs, they do add up. It's a lot more costly to use the APIs than it is to use, a fixed plan with Cloud Code or something. But that'll change, and the point of this is to make this whole system ready for the future that's already almost here, where AI is doing all your coding. So I will also add that all of this stuff, the AI access and AI ID support classes and the changes elsewhere in the system, were all coded by Claude Code. Some of it debugged live with the system itself. Generally speaking, it does a great job with Opus 4.7. I have not written a single line of the AI integration code. I have looked at it go by, reviewed, made suggestions for better style or changes once in a while. The whole design is something I worked out with Claude in sort of a collegial conversation. This stuff is really impressive, and I expect to do a whole lot more with this, integrating it into source control, getting it into a mode where it can do whole change sets and just motor automatically, right? We not asking every time it has to change a piece of code as it does now, and as I said, add more providers, polish the UI in various ways. But this is the essence of it, and I figured it was kind of a nice thing to show. So thank you for listening.